Yo, yo, yo. Kick him! Kick him! This is Sparta! What's up, Wick? How'd Kayla's birthday stuff go last night, dude? What'd you guys play? Man, get sleep like 4 more hours. And I got plenty of sleep. Felt like I was waking up a lot last night, though. What's up, guys? Kayla played Fortnite all night. Right on, dude. Very sweaty, yo. Sounds like good times, man. Sounds like good times. Yeah, I don't know, man. I had that same exact issue the first night before last, man, when we played Apex. The I've never had that issue before until I installed Apex, dude. Froze up my entire PC, dude. Um, Happened again yesterday, obviously. And so I took some time last night, man, and worked on just updating some drivers and messing around with some graphic settings and stuff on Apex, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes moving forward. Hopefully it's all sorted. Updated some drivers, took a look at some stuff on the PC, and hopefully it'll be all good. Kind of funky, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Um, cool. It's good to see everybody. But day 28 of Witcher. Witcher's feeling good. It feels really good to have gotten past the gen yesterday, and not have to have been able. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I've got a few different apps that I can do that with. I wasn't doing it while we were playing before. You get so tunnel vision, man. But yeah, I've got a few different pieces of software that I can check and see what's going on. So we'll see what's up. Um, yeah, we got past the gin yesterday, which felt really good, especially not having to. Well, we did it initially by taking down the enemy scaling, but then I went back, turned enemy scaling back on, and got past it because I figured out a bit of a way to get through it using a specific decoction, which felt nice. Felt nice to be able to get through it with not having to decrease difficulty and not having to decrease the enemy scaling, which apparently has been a big issue throughout the history of this game for people, running on the same difficulty and having enemy scaling on. So I don't know, feels good, but we'll keep pushing today. Um, got more main story stuff to do, side questing. We need to start pushing towards some new gear as well. So we'll get there, but let's do what we do. Let's go over here and see what we can find that's going on in the world of gaming that might be new to us. All right, let's do that. Yep, yep, yep. Perfect, perfect. That's what I did last night too. I hopped in a couple of quick matches last night in Apex. And I didn't see anything wild, you know. But it was after I had done some driver patches. Um, I had messed around with some of the graphic settings and stuff like that in the game, just to take a bit of the load off. But at the same time, I wasn't testing it while streaming either. You know what I mean? So that's going to make a bit of a difference as well. So we'll see how it goes. But I did just pop in the game and just take a look at a few different things, make sure I wasn't dealing with any heat issues and stuff like that, and everything looked fine. Um, Anti Wick. What's up, Chabot? Today is the new season. Woo! So you're taking off early today, is what you're saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what you're telling me. You're taking off early today. You're G to the UD, bruh. Good, man. It's good to see you, Tabo. Yo, I beat the Jin yesterday, dude. I don't know if you just heard me say that, but I beat the Jin yesterday. I figured out a way to do it. Figured out a way. I actually looked it up. Yesterday was a wonky day. Yesterday was a really wonky day. We had stream element servers went down, so I had to take the stream down because moderation. My bot wasn't working for the stream, and overlays went down, like all kinds of stuff. So I had to take the stream down. Right as we had kind of started playing some Witcher 3 yesterday after the news segment. And then started playing again, and then my electricity got knocked out by a storm. Um, okay, a couple of massive orders to knock out this morning, but maybe get home around lunchtime and I can find a good place to stop the Witcher, and then we can hop into the newest season of Apex and get real sweaty, maybe. I mean, tentatively, can we hang on to that schedule tentatively, maybe? We'll see. I'm gonna go with that. Wix got some stuff to knock out this morning. That's the schedule for today. New Apex season. We just started playing Apex. Wix got some things to knock out. He's going to get that taken care of. Get home early so we can play some Apex together. Co-stream some Apex. That's the plan. Anything he says that goes against that plan after this point in chat, don't pay attention to that. Um, so yeah, Tabo. Once we get into The Witcher, I'll show you kind of what happened yesterday, what made me realize a way that I could probably take care of it a bit easier, and it worked. Yeah. Let's get into some news though. Let's get this done. How about that? Netflix has some great games, but nobody's playing them. Yo, it's already random mode time, too, guys. Let's go. thank a, thank a. Oh, I do. I've actually got some eggs ready for me too, man. Guess how? Guess how? My amazing wife. I've already got eggs ready for me. Apparently, less than 1% of Netflix's 221 million subscribers are actually playing their games right now. Nice, Wick. Nice. Wick, Nvidia's warning of lower second quarter revenue on gaming. That's probably pertinent to you, buddy. Japan's latest Famitsu most wanted game charts. We'll take a quick glance at that. Uh oh. Yeah, dude. You don't want to bring it up? I mean, the reason I didn't bring it up initially, I broke now. No! No more biddies, dude. You'll be fine. I mean, of the companies in the gaming industry, I think this is the thing that people, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, right? The gaming industry is still profitable. It's just getting back to the norm, you know what I mean? Or back to reality a bit, as opposed to the like kind of massive boost that a lot of the gaming industry saw outside of development issues, you know. All right, here we go, dude. We were talking about this yesterday. GTA 6 development gets a new update from Rockstar. Yeah, let's take a look, see if it's actually speculation or if this is actually official stuff. Um, So we've talked about this a lot across the gaming industry, whether it be software, hardware, console. I mean, console, PC. It doesn't matter. Across the industry, gaming in general has, from the beginning of last year to this point, like mid 2022, we've seen like roughly a decline of 20%, creeping into the mid 20s of decline in profit across that time frame. It doesn't mean it's not still profitable, right? Uh, Oh, okay, cool, Tabo. Cool, buddy. Yeah. Sounds good. It's good to see you, buddy. Um, so the thing is, with the pandemic kind of lessening, right? Well, at the height of the pandemic, when everybody was having to stay home, everybody was, I mean, just resorting to video games for entertainment, for communication, for finding communities of engaging with other human beings. And it was a very, very good thing for the gaming industry as a whole. But now that it's lessening, restrictions are lessening, there aren't as many people in quarantine and having to stay home, and schools are getting back to normal and things like that. Nice to know. Then it was inevitable that the market was going to get back to normal a little bit, right? And that's kind of what's happening. So we keep seeing things where these industries that are uh, primarily gaming focused businesses, uh, they're talking about how to expect the market to keep dipping a bit, and that's because that's what's going on right now in the world, right? Now, the gaming industry as a whole is still profitable. It's not that it's not profitable. It's just not as profitable as it was a year and a half ago, right? And I would say that especially in companies like Nvidia, for example, are still going to be doing very well as opposed to maybe some other companies, right? So I don't know. Oh, Midnight Suns is delayed again, guys. Here we go. All right. New Star Wars game announced after Knights of the Old Republic remake got significantly indefinitely delayed, right? Isn't that what we saw previously? XCOM creator says Epic Game Store is great. Let's see what that's about. Great for something. Is it obvious you're overhyped? No. Need more emotes. Multiverses teases new season one modes, cosmetics, and we'll see what else. Looks like we got some good articles this morning. Some good juicy stuff to hop into here, yeah. Uh the juiciness. Sci-fi shooter Arc Raiders catches a 2023 delay. Another delayed game. Is this the same thing? I think this is the same thing. Arc Raiders. Yep, same thing. So we'll just stick with the one we have already. There's another one on Arc Raiders. Um, Panic Playdate taught me that Nintendo should remake the classic Game Boy. I disagree. With things being out there right now, like the analog pocket, why would Nintendo make a new retro handheld piece of hardware unless they're gonna make it able to play like digital titles? I think that's the only way. And even then, we've already seen that the analog pocket's being jailbroken to where it can be an emulator. I don't think that's a good play by Nintendo, to be honest. Yeah, Nvidia cuts quarterly revenue forecast. So that's, I mean, this is not abnormal. We've seen all these companies that are major players in the gaming industry. They are forecasting slumps. It's happening. Just brace yourself for that. All these companies are, and that's the, I mean, that's the thing that you want to do, right? I mean, if it looks like the industry is taking a downturn, you want to project numbers lower than you'd rather undershoot, right? You'd rather undershoot and come out on top of that. So that's what a lot of companies are going to be starting to do now. They're going to be undershooting, and hopefully coming out on top of those numbers, right? But the industry is slumping because of what I talked about. It hit a major uptick because of the height of the COVID pandemic, and it's just kind of coming back to reality now. Let's pivot real quick. Unity and Microsoft partner up to empower video game devs. What's this? Let's see what that's about. Splatoon 3 Nintendo Direct announced. All right, let's see when that is. Street Fighter 5 and Multiverses made for a thrilling Evo finale. Let's take a quick look. Yo, you guys seen the new Predator movie, by the way? It's pretty decent. I thought it was pretty entertaining and a pretty cool take on the Predator kind of lore and everything. Especially just them in regards to Earth and being hunters and things like that. Pretty cool. Highly recommend taking a look at it. I mean, it's not anything. I don't think it's anything that's going to be blowing you away, but very good show and uses indigenous uh, Native Americans. Uh, I think for the entire casting of the show, and it's very well. It's done very well. It's pretty cool. Yeah, our creators delay. We got something up on that. All right, Street Fighter 6 reveals new and returning characters. This might coincide with that, so we'll see. Live action Pac Man movie is in the works. What? Okay. Apparently, according to No Man's Sky's devs, you can now launch into the gaming PC space using Intel's UHD graphics. Um, I'm not gonna pull this up. I am willing to bet you can pull up No Man's Sky, you can mess around in the game, but it is going to be a degraded visual graphical experience as opposed to having a dedicated graphics card. Okay, um, I would bet money on that, as opposed to using a dedicated graphics card. So I'm not going to jump into that. Look, I mean, there's no doubt about the fact that integrated graphics on CPUs is coming a long ways, has come a long ways in technology. But is it going to be able to still provide anywhere close to the kind of graphic fidelity that a dedicated graphics card can give you in a game? No way. Not even close. Yeah, Midnight Suns got delayed again. We got that up already. Take a look. And Sonic 3 gets a release date. Okay, let's stick with that. There we go. Those are our articles for the day, okay? Let's get it. Let's get it. Microsoft and Unity join forces to empower video game developers globally. Unity selects Microsoft Azure as its cloud partner to enable creators to reach their audiences on Xbox and PC. Unity picked Microsoft's cloud computing service Azure as its partner to give the video gaming developers the opportunity to reach players across PC, Windows, and Xbox devices. The two gaming giants released a joint announcement stating that this partnership will, quote, this partnership will offer creators an opportunity to produce real-time 3D assets both for games and non-gaming worlds by recreating real-world places and objects. Unity chose Azure mainly because Azure already supports some of the world's largest games, and its goal is similar to Unity in this area, to bring innovative learnings to power RT3D experiences for all industries. In addition to gaming, the partnership will develop experiences in industries such as manufacturing, e-commerce, and healthcare. However, the main goal is to make everything easier for Unity game creators worldwide to bring their products to the PC and Xbox markets. Microsoft's CVP of Game Creator Experiences and Ecosystem, Sarah Bond, said the following about the partnership. I'll let you guys read that. I'll throw it in chat. Yeah, there's a lot of quotes. Unity continues to make major partnerships with the video game industry. Recently laid off 4% of staff in order to realign its resources. Okay. Well, there's some news. All right. If you guys want to read those quotes, then there it is. Looks like Splatoon 3's got a Nintendo Direct coming. With Nintendo set to release the upcoming video game Splatoon 3 on the Switch in just over a month on September 9th, it should likely come as a little surprise the video game company has announced a special Nintendo Direct specifically about Splatoon 3 for later this week. What exactly might be revealed during the presentation is anyone's guess, but looks to be a rather significant amount of information that is coming. More specifically, the Splatoon 3 Direct is set to take place on tomorrow at 9 Eastern. So we'll watch it. We'll watch it tomorrow. That's literally right around the time that we usually finish up news, roughly about 8 a.m. for us. So a couple of hours after we start the stream up. So usually we get finished with news anywhere between 7:30 roughly to 8 o'clock. That's usually average for us with the news segment. And we'll just run straight into this Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Cool? Let's do that. Yep. And we'll see what they have to present. The presentation is set to reveal various updates about the upcoming video game over the course of roughly 30 minutes. Beyond the date, starting time, and length, there is no telling what Nintendo might actually show off during the event. Given its length, however, it seems fair to assume that plenty of gameplay will be showcased. Uh, cool, man. Hopefully this is a pretty good one. I haven't seen a great Nintendo showcase in quite some time, so we'll see what's up. 1 second, guys. Sorry. If you are someone that just can't wait to get their hands on Splatoon 3 in September, Nintendo has you covered, as is actually a Splatoon 3 themed Nintendo Switch OLED model that is set to release on August 26th for $360. It does not come bundled with the game itself, but it does have the special Joy-Con controllers with yellow and blue colors, as well as Splatoon imagery coating everything but the screen. As noted above, Nintendo's new Splatoon 3 Direct, tomorrow. Should be about 30 minutes long. That's about normal for Nintendo Direct showcases. Okay, cool. We'll watch it tomorrow. Cool. So we'll do news, and then we'll just run directly into some Nintendo Direct. If news ends early, we'll play a little bit of Gwent or something like that. Okay. Until the showcase starts. That's what we'll do. Street Fighter V and Multiverse is made for a thrilling Evo final. IDOM, dude. Yo, wow, dude, he almost won. so, so again, I mean, I'm actually a little bit versed on some of the more competitive Street Fighter V players, U.S. players, and IDOM, this individual is uh flipping amazing. I don't know if he's still maining Laura or not. I think he was playing Laura and Ivy. He used to main Laura, and I think he switched over to playing Ivy quite a bit. But this is like top of the line Street Fighter, U.S. Street Fighter player right here. IDOM is, and he's an incredible individual to watch play this game. When I mean, there are many other people in the U.S. that are very good at this game, and IDOM is just consistently. It's not that he doesn't ever get beat or anything like that, but if anybody takes down IDOM, it's a significant achievement. Let's say that, okay? So he almost became the first American to win Street Fighter at EVO in 12 years. So here's the thing about Street Fighter, right? This is a worldwide, very competitive game. So, I mean, especially like Japan, super heavy in Japan. It's a hugely competitive game here. Brazil, South America in general, all over the world, really. Street Fighter is a just highly competitive game, and it's been 12 years since an American won at EVO. It's pretty wild. The EVO Championship Series 2022 wrapped up last night, capping a weekend full of some of the most fun I've ever had watching competitive video gaming. Multiverses made its EVO debut. Despite still being an open beta, some new games were teased or announced. For a glorious moment, the Twitter gaming community, or at least my corner of it, came together to witness an incredible Street Fighter V Grand Final. We might watch this morning after the news. I started my EVO weekend watching Skullgirls Second Encore, dimly aware of the game, only knowing it was a quirky looking fighting game with a rocky development history. Only tuned in because Dominic Sonic Fox McLean was competing, and they are a treat to watch. Always fun with these kinds of tournaments to watch storylines unfold. With Skullgirls in particular, Sonic Fox had a teammate in the top 8 bracket, John DeKillsage Colio. The two met in the winner's final of the double elimination bracket, with Sonic Fox sending DeKillsage down to the loser's bracket handily with a 3-0 win. From there, DeKillsage tore through the loser's bracket, made it to the grand finals to face Sonic Fox again. Oh, that's awesome. And beat Sonic Fox 3-0 to reset the bracket, dude. forcing the teammates to play one more match to decide the winner. Sonic Fox eventually prevailed, beating the kill stage 3-2, hugging his friend and teammate for a match extremely well fought. That's great, man. That's great. Evo's excitement could not have been contained. Could not be contained to just the main stage. Also spilled into the commentator's booth. Have you ever seen a commentator so hyped for the reveal of a new Skullgirls character they threw their wig? Developers whose games were featured at EVO took the opportunity to announce new content for their franchises too. After the conclusion, the King of Fighters 15, Top 8, SNK, Playmore announced that after 20 years, a new Fatal Fury has been greenlit. Yeah, we kind of read about that yesterday as well. Yeah, we saw that. Bandai Namco teased something regarding Tekken. It seemed like a suggestion to tune into the Tekken World Tournament Global Finals to learn more. Yeah, it looks like a new Tekken might be coming our way. We read about that yesterday as well. EVO 2022 climaxed in the event's penultimate tournament, Street Fighter V. Although I'm sure Guilty Gear Strive had equally impressive moments, it was 1 a.m. Eastern time by the time that tournament started, and some folks have jobs in the morning, you know. Part of the beauty of EVO is that it's an international tournament. Absolutely. Players come from all over the world to compete, and each game has a country that dominates the leaderboard. Skullgirls was an American affair. The Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z bracket was almost entirely French. Street Fighter V was predictably filled with Japanese players. Yeah. It's a little, is that Gouch? Gouch? I don't even know what this word is, dude. I'm such a pleb. Lacking ease or grace.
Gauche.
Gauche. Unsophisticated and socially awkward.
Gauche.
We're learning, chat. We're learning. Bordering on violent jingoism. To have pride in one's country, especially as a black American, but in competitive sports, it's America all day. Enter Derek Idom Ruffin, one of the only two Americans left in the Street Fighter 5 tournament. Who else was left? Idom started in the losers bracket, eliminating France's Mr. Crimson 3-1. He then had to face a legend in the Street Fighter and video game community at large, Daigo, dude. Daigo is infamous within Street Fighter. Umihara, yeah. Competitive gaming is a young person's game. 25 is ancient in esports years. Umihara is 41, dude. This guy has been throttling and dominating the Street Fighter scene for a long time. He's been kicking ass in Street Fighter for more than 20 years. Yeah, he's got 6 EVO championships and cemented his place in video game history when during EVO 2004 he beat Justin Wong in Street Fighter 3, third strike with a move even the most casual video game fan will recognize. He's that guy, and Idom tore through him as though he were wet tissue paper. If that wasn't enough, the Street Fighter V tournament boasted another Japanese fighting game community elder statesman, Hajime Tokido Taniguchi. He too fell to Idom. It's important to note an American has not won a Street Fighter tournament at EVO since 2010, and it looked like Idom might be the one to end the drought. Watching him fight was electrifying. He had this icy calmness to him. He always does, dude. Able to read and anticipate his opponent's moves in ways that can be best be described as precognition. Well, I mean, that's a big part of fighting games too, right? It's not just knowing your character. It's knowing other characters. It's knowing the frames of the moves, positive frames, negative frames, and Idom is insanely knowledgeable about not just characters that he plays, but the characters he's playing against as well. I mean, all these individuals that play the game at a high level, highly competitive level, are knowledgeable like that. But Idom's kind of on another level that only a certain other amount of people in the world are kind of at. He was just completely dialed into the game and his craft as he felled opponent after opponent to reach the grand finals. And as he fought, the excitement spilled over onto Twitter as the gaming community came together, united as a single purpose to give this man all our energy to win. Oh, man. Spontaneous collective outbursts like that reminded me why gaming is such a fun and rewarding hobby. It's all your friends and colleagues coming together, losing our collective minds as a guy we don't know shows us what it looks like when a game is played at its highest level. The expertise on display, the excitement, the sheer joy of being in a shared mindset like that is unrivaled. And when Idom eventually fell in a heartbreaking 3-2 match after beating Masaki Kawano to reset the bracket, it didn't matter. Idom played fantastically. He became our American hero, and no loss could take that feeling away. Do not have any meaningful history with or nostalgia for fighting games, but my God, do I love Evo. Evo is good. Evo unites us. Can't wait to watch Evo return to Japan in 2023. Yeah, Evo is good stuff, dude. Again, I don't even really play fighting games. I haven't played fighting games since I was young, but I love fighting games. Just for what they bring to the game, gaming communities and gaming for us, just people that love games in general, and as a community and everything. Gaming is, the fighting game genre is a really cool thing. And again, the amount I don't think a lot of people realize the amount of knowledge and time that goes into playing competitively in a lot of these fighting games. And IDOM is absolutely incredible to watch play as well. So if you're into fighting games and if Street Fighter looks fun, give IDOM a watch. He's got a Twitch channel and everything. So highly recommend IDOM. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's wild, man. What a great article. Great article. Street Fighter 6, staying on the Street Fighter topic here. Street Fighter 6 has it got revealed back in June officially, right? But 6 reveals new and returning characters. As part of this past week's Evo fighting game tournament, Street Fighter 6 developer Capcom officially revealed 2 new characters set to be on the roster when the upcoming fighting game releases next year for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. More specifically, Street Fighter 6 will officially see Yuri return once again, as well as add the totally new character Kimberly. Kimberly invited herself to become Guy's student, who is the 39th successor to Bushin Ryu, after defeating his master Ziku, 38th successor. The PlayStation blog post about the new Street Fighter 6 characters reads in part. Kimberly had an ordinary upbringing, but she's a prodigy who graduated college early and now wants to be a full-fledged ninja. She is infatuated with 80s pop culture when the portable cassette player was at its peak popularity, hence why she always carries one with her. You can check out what Yuri and Kimberly look like in action with Street Fighter 6 for yourself embedded below. Dude, if they don't make a skin for Kimberly that is based off of Star-Lord with the cassette player and everything, that is a missed opportunity. If she always has a Walkman like cassette player or something on her, and they don't give her like some kind of skin, because Street Fighter's got a bunch of different skins that they do for the game and everything like that. If they don't do a skin where she looks like Star Lord, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. In addition to the new Street Fighter 6 roster additions, Capcom also revealed 2 new commentators. As previously revealed, the title allows players to enable real-time commentary. There are basically 2 different types, play-by-play commentator and color commentator. The former describes the action as it happens quickly and articulately, while the latter offers insight and analysis for the match. Tasty Steve has been revealed as a play-by-play commentator option on Street Fighter 6, while James Chin marks the first color commentator revealed for the upcoming title. Broadly speaking, Street Fighter 6 is set to release for the PS5. Yep, 2023. No definitive release date yet. Game, is including 3 game modes already that we know about in the form of Fighting Ground, World Tour, and Battle Hub. This has a bit of an open world kind of mode to it that we haven't seen in a Street Fighter game, at least not in a very long time, where you're kind of going around and going through this like bit of open world campaign-esque kind of story mode stuff, as opposed to it just being competitive matches. You know what I mean? They've got this kind of new mode coming into it. Okay, live action Pac-Man movie is in the works. If Sonic the Hedgehog's success is anything to go by, Pac-Man's live action adaptation could work. It also could also crash and burn as many adaptations have. Bandai, the owner of Pac-Man's IP, is reportedly working on a live-action Pac-Man movie because, of course, they are. Because Sonic did well, right? First discovered by The Hollywood Reporter, the project is apparently a joint venture between Bandai and Wayfarer Studios, a production company formed by Justin Baldoni and Steve Sarowitz. Project supposedly has an original plot written by Chuck Williams of Lightbeam Entertainment, who worked on the previous Sonic the Hedgehog movies. What remains to be seen is how the studios will convert Pac-Man into a live-action tale that doesn't follow the trail most video game movie adaptations tend to go down. Pac-Man, as I'm sure you already know, is a pretty simplistic game where a yellow puck with a mouth travels around a maze, eating pellets and fruit and avoiding ghosts until he eats a powerful pellet, then goes around eating the ghosts as well. There have been recent attempts at creating a world for Pac-Man, Pac-Man World, a PlayStation 1 game, featuring Pac-Man traveling around 3D environments to stop the ghosts from kidnapping his friends. While that was a commercial success, other entries have not been as lucky. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures was a Disney attempt at bringing Pac-Man to a younger generation. While some parts of the world reviewed it favorably, most viewers rated it negatively. Pac-Man was redesigned to a new Paxter design, which was not as popular as the original design feature in games like Super Smash Bros. Yeah. Bandai Namco is certainly taking a risk, but with its recent successes, the company can probably afford to. Elden Ring smashed sales records and review scores, making it one of the most popular video games in the world, outselling even Call of Duty. Bandai Namco was also the target of a recent ransomware attack. Yep, we read about that, causing an unknown amount of data related to various businesses tied to the company. At this time, the extent of the damage is still being investigated. It appears to be localized towards their Asian and Japanese markets. Okay. Well, we'll see more about that, I'm sure, as time moves forward. So, Sonic 3 gets a release date. Sonic has turned into quite the winning franchise for Paramount. The first film in the live action series was a solid success in 2020. Sequel was met with another warm reception earlier this year. It absolutely killed the box office. Now Paramount is looking ahead to the third movie in the series. On Monday night, Paramount announced the official release date for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and it's arriving sooner than some fans might have expected. According to the announcement, which was shared to the official Sonic social channels, Sonic 3 will arrive in theaters on December 20th of 2024. Take a look at the announcement below. Okay. So December of next year, we'll be getting Sonic 3. This release date announcement has implications beyond just the Sonic franchise. Paramount had initially planned for a Smurfs animated musical to hit theaters in December of next year, of 2024. In addition to giving Sonic 3 that spot, the studio has moved the Smurfs movie to February of 2025. Okay, so not December of next year, December of 2024. Please stop, dude. I was just highlighting, okay? Knock it off. The first Sonic movie focused almost entirely on the titular Sonic character, voiced in the franchise by Ben Schwartz. Sonic 2 introduced other iconic characters from the beloved Sega video game saga, including Tails and Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba. And Knuckles is going to lead a TV series on Paramount Plus, in addition to appearing in the feature films. Earlier this year, director Jeff Fowler talked about what fans can expect from the show. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So, if you've enjoyed the Sonic movies to this point, there is a series coming to Paramount that is headlined by Knuckles. And we're also getting Sonic 3 in December of 2024. So, a ways to go yet. I'm glad they're not rushing it, but they're definitely very set on continuing this series. I mean, it's been a hit for them, so that makes sense. Netflix has some great games, but nobody's playing them. Um, according to new data, less than 1% of subscribers are playing Netflix's games. Since last year, Netflix has offered its subscribers access to free video games. I mean, can they be considered free video games if you're a subscriber? You're paying for a subscription the games are actually part of what you're paying for as the subscription, right? So they're not free. They are part of the subscription payment. So why are they being considered free games? Now, data shows that less than 1% of its users are actually playing any of these games. While the streaming giant has announced more games coming to its service, very few of its over 200 million subscribers will likely care. Back in November, Netflix began offering games as part of its subscription service, launching with 5 initial titles. Yep, it's since added more and now has over 25, supposed to have over 50 by the end of the year, that people can download through the Netflix app on either Android or iOS devices. Some of these games, like Enter the Breach, are really good too, and all of these games contain no ads or microtransactions. As reported by CNBC, via data from the app analytics company Apptopia, Netflix's games have been downloaded just over 23 million times and have an average daily audience of 1.7 million. Might sound good on paper, but it's basically nothing compared to Netflix's 221 million subscribers. What this data seems to show is that about 200 million people who have access to Netflix's library of games are currently not playing them or maybe don't even know they exist. Still, with a solid list of games that continues to grow, Netflix is struggling to get anyone to care. Apptopia's data shows that all of these games have a combined daily audience of 1.7 million. Meanwhile, there are hundreds of crappy mobile games that have twice that alone. Last year, Netflix COO George Peters told investors it plans to be experimental and will try a bunch of things, while explaining that the company is focused on the long-term prize of creating popular games that are connected to hit Netflix shows and movies. While Netflix says it will double its current game library by the end of the year, with only 1% of subscribers playing these games, hard not to wonder how long before the streamer decides its foray into gaming is too expensive and not worth it. Yeah, Netflix is currently facing a problem with keeping users. Since the beginning of this year, the streamer has lost 1.2 million subscribers. In response to downward trending numbers, they've cut jobs, spending, and canceled shows. Building and supporting a library of games that can compete with Game Pass or Apple Arcade isn't cheap. For example, earlier this year, Netflix paid over $70 million to buy up the studio behind a Stranger Things puzzle game. That's not nothing. And in a time when the company is looking to cut costs and compete against other streamers, it's questionable how long it will continue to finance this gaming experiment. Yeah, I mean, from the first time we kind of heard about them pivoting into gaming, that's kind of what I've been saying is, just because you've got a notable presence already within the entertainment industry, uh, a brand that is uh, well known to build off of and capital to invest, does not mean you're going to be successful in the gaming industry. Not at all. Um, and ultimately, at the core of it, means you have to come up with some unique, new gaming experiences that are going to catch people's attention and bring them to your platform. If you're not able to do that, you're not gonna. It's not gonna work. It's just that's the gist of it. So so far, it doesn't look like it's going too well for them, but we'll see. They're committed to continuing to bring about double the games they have right now to their platform by the end of the year, and we'll see if they come up with anything decent. Japan, latest Famitsu Most Wanted Gaming Charts. The latest Famitsu Readers Most Wanted Game Charts have come through from Japan for the week of 21st of July to 27th July. Most Wanted Game this week with 689 votes remains the next entry in the mainline Final Fantasy series. Yes, Final Fantasy 16, which is in development for the PlayStation 5 and is scheduled to arrive next summer. The big JRPG from Square Enix was followed by Nintendo's long-awaited Splatoon 3, which we will watch the showcase for tomorrow. The top 10 most wanted games from Famitsu readers goes as follows: Final Fantasy 16, Splatoon 3, Dragon Quest X Offline, Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Ashiro, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Pragmata, and Resident Evil 4. There you go. Okay, let's see if this is actually anything worth putting any stock into here. We get so much GTA 6 stuff that uh, isn't necessarily official. It's just speculation, and because I mean, and there are a lot of just hypesters around GTA 6 and what's going on with the development, when it's coming out, what it's going to be, what's going to incorporate. And, I'm just getting tired of seeing all of it. So, we'll read anything that has any kind of substantiation to it, anything that feels like it might have some kind of concrete, good information for us to hold on to. But if it just seems like a bunch of speculation, and hearsay, I'm not going to be diving into that GTA 6 stuff anymore. A new development update related to the highly anticipated GTA 6 has been revealed by the boss in charge of Rockstar Games. Okay. At this point in time, Rockstar itself has merely confirmed that it's in the process of working on GTA 6, but it hasn't said anything else definitive about the project. While some leaks and rumors have given us a better idea of what to expect in the past month, maybe what to expect, we now have heard new information directly from those in charge of the franchise. In a new financial call today, Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick spoke a bit about Rockstar Games and the studio's performance for the parent company lately. As expected, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 continue to sell at a high rate, which is something that Take-Two is more than pleased with. In addition to acknowledging these sales, though, Zelnick spoke a bit about what Rockstar is currently toiling away on and the studio's expectations for its next project. With the development of the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series well underway, the Rockstar Games team is determined once again to set creative benchmarks for the series, our industry, and for all entertainment, just as the label has done with every one of their frontline releases. He didn't add anything else about, Zelnick didn't add anything else about GTA 6 at this time, but his message suggested that the game has been in the works for quite some time. Um, so that's it. Uh, Development's well underway, guys. Okay, cool. Marvel's Midnight Suns delayed again. Take-Two Interactive, speaking of Take-Two, has announced another delay for Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is the upcoming strategy game from developer Firaxis Games. Originally slated to launch in March of this year, 2K Games and Firaxis announced late last year that it instead wouldn't be arriving until a bit later. While a launch date was previously scheduled for October of this year, we now don't know excuse me, when Marvel's Midnight Suns will be releasing. Detailed in Take-Two's latest financial documents, Marvel's Midnight Suns is no longer mentioned to be arriving on its October release date. Instead, the game has broadly been delayed to launch in Take-Two's current fiscal year. Most companies in the gaming industry have a fiscal year that does not coincide with the calendar year, okay? Their fiscal year is going to run from April 1st of a calendar year through the end of March of the next calendar year. That is going to be the fiscal year. So what that means is that they're thinking that Marvel's Midnight Suns is probably not going to release until roughly sometime through the end of March of 2023. This means the game could be pushed back to 2023 as the fiscal year for Take-Two won't officially end until March 31st of 2023. See? Conversely, it could still arrive before 2022 wraps up. It's probably not a safe bet. If you're anticipating, if you're hyped about this game, don't bet on this game releasing until probably first quarter of 2023 sometime. That is just a safe bet. If it releases before then, cool. But at this point, it's had two delays, and you're just better off not being any more disappointed. At just keep this as the tentative release date for this game moving forward. Uh, Important update from the Midnight Suns team. We have an important update to share regarding our launch date for Marvel's Midnight Suns. After discussion with the team, we've made the decision to move back the launch timing of Marvel's Midnight Suns to ensure we are delivering the best possible experience for our fans. We will launch later this fiscal year on PC, Xbox Series XS, PS5, with Xbox One and PS4 and Nintendo Switch versions following at a later date. So they're even actually saying now that their previous gen console editions of the games are not going to come out at the same time. We know fans are looking forward to playing Marvel's Midnight Suns. We will use this extra time to make sure we are delivering the best possible experience for everyone. Marvel's Midnight Suns is easily the biggest game we've ever made, and we're incredibly appreciative of all the support players have shared with us throughout the years. While this news is disappointing on its own, what's worse is that the last gen versions of Marvel's Midnight Suns now don't have launch windows of any sort. I wouldn't be surprised if they get X'd. Same thing that happened with was it Gotham Knights? Is that the name of the other one that's coming out? Is that it? Uh, yeah, right. Gotham Knights. Yeah, Gotham Knights was initially supposed to have previous gen versions of their game, and they X'd it. I would not be surprised if this happens to Midnight Suns as well. With the fact they've already come out and said, we're delaying again, and whenever the game does finally come out, it is initially just going to be new gen and PC, new gen consoles and PC. Uh, I at this point would not be really surprised if they went previous gen consoles aren't going to be getting this after all. Uh, Conversely, the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch versions are listed as TBA with their release windows. As such, it seems like they won't be coming out until a much later date, if at all, I would say. Put a bit of a caveat on there and say just, or extend that notion, not a caveat, but extend that notion and just say, maybe be prepared for the fact those games might not even come to previous gen consoles. Maybe still Switch, but prepare for them maybe to not even come to PS4 and Xbox One. In short, this delay and new staggered manner in which Marvel's Midnight Suns will now be released suggests the game might be having difficulties on last gen platforms. And while Take-Two and Firaxis Games are still committed to bringing Midnight Suns to all these platforms, definitely seems like older hardware could be proving to hamper development just a bit. Um, having discussion between myself and other people in the community, other streamer friends, things like that. I mean, we always talk about how we would much rather a game get delayed, right? Uh, don't release a game in a bad state. Don't make us feel duped. Don't make us feel like we paid money for a piece of crap. Uh, so if a game needs to be delayed, delay it. But when you start talking about a game getting delayed numerous times, there's something wrong. And at the same time, it's starting to seem like a trend where games just constantly get announced way ahead of whenever they actually end up coming out, and it's starting to get really old. It's starting to get really old, and I know a part of that has to do with the data mining that happens. There are always people out there that are trying to find out what's coming that's new, and then companies don't really. I mean, they're put into a corner basically, right? They're like they don't have really a whole lot of choice other than to go, okay, yeah, we're making this game, and this is kind of where we're at with it, and because they stuff gets leaked, man, quite often, but it does constantly feel pretty terrible whenever we're having to deal with always hearing about new games and then constant delays with the new games, and uh, then you're hearing about information about games for years before they actually release, and just like it's almost like getting desensitized to uh, ever being able to get hyped about anything, because it's like the insane amount of wait time that's starting to come along with just knowing that games are coming and uh, just getting drowned with information about them, and then they're constantly delayed. And I don't know, it's a bit much. I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. I've had other people express that kind of same feeling. New Star Wars game announced. Speaking of other delays, Knights of the Old Republic got absolutely like indefinitely delayed, which feels terrible because Knights of the Old Republic is, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Star Wars game that's ever been made, and everybody was really looking forward to hopefully a really good remake of that, and it got shut down. We just read about that about a month ago. Fantasy Flight Games has announced plans to publish a new Star Wars game in 2023. The new Star Wars deck building game, will be released in 2023 and is being designed by Caleb Grace, one of the lead designers of Marvel Champions, the card game, and the Lord of the Rings, the card game. No other details were provided about the game other than that the game will be a competitive PvP style game as opposed to a co-op style card game. You can check out the released teaser image, which shows Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader squaring off below. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Dark side, go. On one level, the news that Fantasy Flight Games is making a Star Wars card game isn't much of a surprise. At one point, Fantasy Flight Games was the premier maker of Star Wars tabletop games, although several of the biggest sellers were transferred to different Asmodee-owned game studios over the past few years. At the same time, Fantasy Flight Games has leaned more heavily on its card game portfolio. Both Arkham Horror, the card game, and Marvel Champions, the card game, remain bestsellers for the publisher. Still, Star Wars the deck building game appears to be a different kind of card game, at least based on its preliminary description. While Arkham Horror and Marvel Champions are both co-op games, Star Wars the deck building game appears to be a competitive game and isn't a living card game that's built around an ever-expanding set of cards with scenarios and new packs released on a monthly basis. Excuse me. Don't know much about the new Star Wars deck building game yet. Likely won't hear more about the game for at least a few more months. Okay. But for UTCG players out there, new Star Wars game coming out there. XCOM creator says the Epic Game Store is great for indie games. The creator of XCOM franchise has claimed that the Epic Game Store is great for indie developers and games after his studio Snapshot Games released Phoenix Point on the storefront as a timed exclusive in 2019. Julian Gollop, who created the first XCOM game in '94 at Mythos Games, has talked about the atmosphere and benefits of launching Phoenix Point in an initial Epic Game Store exclusive. Quote, when we did our Epic exclusive, this was the very early days of the Epic Game Store promotion. Yeah, there was a lot of hostility, explained Gollop, and also a lot of conspiracy theories about it. The whole Chinese spyware and all the rest of it. Obviously, there's that's settled down a bit, and Epic has been great for many indies, in fact. It was another avenue to get funding, of course, which is very, very difficult to get with an indie studio. So overall, it was very positive for Phoenix Point itself. Not releasing on the same day across all storefronts on PC naturally means a developer's game will be seen by a smaller audience, but Gollop notes how studios will often do whatever they can to get a game out in the first place. Quote, it's always better to have the widest access to storefronts as possible. If you have the money to get to that finishing line, to get the game in a releasable state, but it's usually not that easy, and developers have to look for other ways to secure that funding they need. Gollop's recent comments on the Epic Game Store come into contrast with New Blood Interactive CEO Dave Oshries, who said on Twitter that someone once described the Epic Game Store as a marketing black hole, and it's extremely accurate. Oshries' comment was in response to a post about Darkest Dungeon 2 with a user claiming that no one cares about the game's current early access release, despite it being one of the most anticipated indie sequels, because it was exclusive to Epic. No, Darkest Dungeon 2 is a much different game than the first one was. Darkest Dungeon 2 is exclusive to Epic only for early access when it launched last October, with it coming to other platforms like Steam during its full release in February. In other news, Silent Hill 2 enemy Pyramid Head has said that the creator of Pyramid Head has said that Dead by Daylight should really be using another version of the character. Huh, that's weird. Multiverses teases new Season 1 modes, cosmetics, and more. In case you missed it, Multiverses developer Player First Games and Warner Brothers Games previously announced that Season 1 of the free-to-play platform Brawler was indefinitely delayed. That delay included the delay of Morty from Rick and Morty as well, who is expected to join Multiverses at the launch of Season 1. Over the weekend, however, the developer of Multiverses teased what players can expect from the upcoming Season 1. The tease of the new season didn't exactly come out of nowhere. If you somehow missed it, the popular fighting game tournament EVO 2022 took place this past weekend in Vegas. Many video game developers used the opportunity to make announcements about various fighting titles, and Multiversus was no different. According to the look at what's coming in Multiversus Season 1, there will be a new ranked mode, classic arcade mode, and new variants, or skins in regular lingo, for characters like LeBron James and Bugs Bunny. You can check out the tease for yourself below. New ranked mode, classic arcade mode, new characters, and new cosmetics. We want to let everyone know that we are delaying the start of Season 1 and the release of Morty to a later date. The official Multiversus Twitter account stated when Season 1 was initially delayed, "We know this might be disappointing for some and want to assure our community we are dedicated to delivering new and exciting content that delights players. As noted above, Multiversus Season 1 does not currently have a release date following its recent delay. In general, Multiversus is currently available in open beta on the PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and PC. Free-to-play platform brawler with a focus on 2v2 team fights. It includes full cross-play support as well as server-based rollback netcode." There you go. I'm sure they'll get the Season 1 updates going out pretty quick. Probably just ran into a few issues there. All right, last article I have for the morning, guys. If you have anything else that you would like to add, please let me know, and we'll take a bit of time to address what you might have to add to the video gaming news segment before we move on to our Witcher gameplay this morning, okay? Sci-fi shooter Arc Raiders catches 2023 delay. We'll be diving into more details as soon as we start to test the game more extensively with players, shared developer Embark Studios. Embark has announced that free-to-play sci-fi shooter Arc Raiders has been delayed and will now launch in 2023. In a statement posted yesterday, Embark Studios shared that it has made the decision to delay Arc Raiders to 2023 and said it would be using this extra time to expand the experience and allow it to reach its fullest potential. Quote, "We will be diving into more details as soon as we start to test the game more extensively with players," added the studio. Arc Raiders was revealed at last year's The Game Awards with a trailer that showcased the game's sci-fi setting. As detailed on Arc Raiders' Steam page, the multiplayer shooter is set in a world where humans must deploy into dangerous firefights to prevent robotic invaders, known as Arc, from successfully landing from orbit. Take a look.
There is no way to hide. Kings, barons, queens. We give them different names, but they're all the same. Killing machines falling from the sky. This is our home. Our bastion of resistance. This is where the brave meets the bold.
This.
We will not die in the shadows. We will face our fears head on. Showtime.
Scout ahead.
Right there. Shit! Too many of them. Fall back now. Look out!
Confirmed impact. Baron is on the ground.
You owe me one.
Perfect.
Let's.
New contact. Breaking orbit. Southern Rust Belt.
They will never stop coming.
Arcs on screen. Calling for volunteers. Enlist. Resist.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks cool. Back in 2021, Owen Mahoney, CEO of Embark Studios' parent company Nexon, shared more details on when Embark's first game will launch. It will depend on when our developers feel they have an outstanding game that they are proud to show their closest friends, said Mahoney. Getting there is all about iteration, playtesting, and polishing. And any game company that is experienced and who is being honest with you will tell you that this is not a linear process. Iteration is about making the game fun, and that is an art challenge, not an engineering challenge. Mahoney added setting a release date for ARC Raiders would put the wrong type of pressure on the game development. Yeah, and said the game will last many years if it is launched in a good state rather than developed with crunch, for sure. Yep, okay. So, ARC Raiders being pushed back, but that's the right mindset for it. Make sure the game comes out in a really good state there. So it's hard to argue with that, you know. I think the issue really comes in for many of us where it's the consistent setting dates and then delaying, setting dates and delaying, and setting dates and delaying. Size, what's up, buddy? Take cover!
Size
Take
Matters is
cover!
raiding with 1 viewers.
What's up, buddy? Might as well just get it going again right there, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it played again. I need to take a look at my scenes. There's some reason why it plays again when I switch back over. Look at all those emotes. Yo, thanks for the raid, buddy. How you doing today, man? Yeah, I mean, we're just finishing up the news segment and just talking about ARC Raiders getting delayed and you know, gaming in general. You talk about development and the delaying of games is I think consensus from most of us video game lovers, the community of gamers. You know, if a game needs to be delayed, delay it. You know, we want the game to come out as a good polished experience, but where we get kind of jaded by the whole delay thing is where it's okay, this is the release date, then it gets delayed, then you know, they set another release date and that gets delayed, and another release date and gets delayed, and it's like there's something wrong, you know. So just don't, you know, set like a tentative window kind of thing. Don't be given specific dates or whatever until you're sure that you're going to be able to hit a mark, you know. Yeah, sometimes delay is good, you know, but sometimes delay can be indicative of problems as well, you know. Ubisoft is a great example right now. We've seen so many times here lately. I think Ubisoft, you know, just with their new pirate game Black Flag, that game got delayed, what was it, about 6 times within a 4-year period or something, you know. And it's like and it's not only that, but with specific development companies, you know, studios, you start seeing trends like that where instead of just going, hey, we're going to set a window, we're hoping to hit something within this window. They start setting specific release dates, which I think what we just saw in that article was like what they were saying, the developer was saying about our creators was like, we don't want to set a specific date because that's going to make us feel crunched. We want to make sure that this title, we are happy with the state of this when it releases because we want you guys to have fun with this game. And that's important, right? There are certain studios that I feel their process is skewed, where they just keep setting release dates and they keep delaying the game more and more and more and more. And that just gets real monotonous for us as gamers when we keep seeing that kind of happen. And I think it actually shows problems within certain studios with their processes of development of games. I think it's very hard to keep closed doors on a lot of projects anymore because there's just so much data mining that happens, so much leaking that happens. So I understand the need to maybe go ahead and put information out there that studios are working on games, but you don't have to be super specific about anything either. And I think quite often delay is fine. If delay needs to happen, delay, right? But like I said, I think a good example right now is Ubisoft. They've delayed about anything outside of Far Cry. Anything outside of Far Cry or Assassin's Creed is constantly getting delayed or X'd. And I think it shows that they've got some issues within that development company, you know. Companies that value quantity over quality, absolutely, man. I mean, I think that's where we've come to love our indie devs so much. You know what I mean? Indie developers have really saved the gaming industry, as it were. Not that there aren't still large development studios that produce good content, you know, quality content, but I think to a greater extent we see much greater content, much more quality games come out of indie studios than we do out of, you know, larger studios. Absolutely. I think that's at least my perception nowadays with the way the gaming industry it kind of runs, for sure. Yeah. Thanks for the raid, buddy. It's good to see you, man. Hope your day's going well. That's all I have for news for today. That's all I have for news. We're gonna move into what was I saying I was gonna watch? I can't even remember now. I'm tired. Well, but I think that I mean, you say they take their own sweet time. I think they're also much more passionate about the content they're bringing to the table. It's not just a bottom line driven kind of thing for a lot of indie devs, right? For a lot of indie devs, it's passion projects. Yeah, it's not completely money bottom line driven kind of venture. It's a lot of gaming enthusiasts making games that they want other people to love their vision as well, right? About Evo, that's what I thought. Maybe watching. Was I wanting to go watch the fight, the IDOM fight stuff? I can't remember, dude. Tomorrow we're definitely going to take a bit of a watch. We'll end the news segment. We'll watch the Nintendo Direct stuff before we hop into Witcher play. But it seems like there was something I was wanting to watch today, and I can't remember. I'm sleepy, dude. I'm sleepy. Wick, what time are you going home? Yeah, I'm ready to get sweaty. IDOM was a beast. Dude, I've actually, I love watching competitive Street Fighter, and I've known about IDOM for a very long time. And we read an article this morning in the news section about what went down at Street Fighter Finals and everything, and it would have been cool for IDOM to win it. Oh, you used to play Street Fighter V competitively? That's sick, dude. I haven't played any kind of fighting games competitively for a long time, but Yeah, I'm very familiar with some of the like Daigo, you know, and IDOM, you know, like I know an amount of the competitive Street Fighter guys that are up in there and are constantly competing and stuff. Even played MK11. Prefer MK11, yeah. I've watched a little bit of MK11. It's not. I mean, I used to play fighting games quite often when I was younger. I just kind of drifted out of it, but it still piques my interest a lot watching people play competitively. And so sometimes, man, I just like to watch tournaments, and I've really gravitated more towards watching Street Fighter tournaments. Sonic Fox is a legend. Yep, absolutely. Yep. So occasionally, man, like if there's a tournament going on or something, you know, I'll pop it on and take a look and see what's going on, how people are doing, and IDOM is an absolute beast, dude. Yeah, so it was cool reading the article about him and how he did an Evo and everything this morning. It was really neat. I've watched a lot of Brian F. I like Brian F. because he really breaks stuff down, you know, in his streams. I like watching Brian F. because he really kind of he does a lot of practice. He on the characters that he mains and I look like a UK Guile player for real. That's funny, man. So yeah, I mean, they're an amount of competitive Street Fighter guys that I'm real familiar with, just because I very much respect the amount of time and dedication and knowledge that goes into being competitive in fighting games, and a lot of people that just aren't aware of what it takes. You know, the plus and negative frames and stuff like that, you know, that goes into it. And I don't even know to a great extent, but I respect the crap out of what it is and what it takes to be competitive. And I love watching people do it because, again, what I was saying about reading the IDOM stuff is it's not just about knowing your characters. It's about knowing your characters very well and knowing the characters that you're going to be playing as well, right? So it's an all-encompassing having an all-encompassing knowledge of the games and the characters and their move sets and things like that, that makes somebody be highly competitive in a fighting game. And I love it, man. I love watching people be competitive in it. I don't have the time and patience to put into it to be competitive in fighting games, but I love it. I love it. And I've just found myself nowadays gravitating towards Street Fighter. I'll watch a little bit of some MK11 stuff, but yeah, I don't know why. Street Fighter is just where it's kind of been for me over the past couple years. Just as a fan, a viewer, yeah. But that's it for the news, guys. That's it for me. We're gonna move on to some Witcher stuff. I'm gonna grab some coffee real quick before we do that. But if you are checking this content out and you're enjoying it, we do the news segment every single day. That's what we start off every single stream with, is video gaming news. And if you're enjoying the content, then I would say please see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself and all the other amazing people in this community to share in what we find and dive into here with the video gaming news segments at 6 a.m. CST when we start all of our streams up, okay? And if you're enjoying this content on YouTube as a VOD, then please also consider hitting that like and subscribe button and maybe leave me a comment so we can have a bit of a discussion that way regarding some of these topics we went over today, okay? Other than that, everybody just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll catch everybody tomorrow for August 10th edition of Video Gaming News. All right?